This video is going to be a film study look at the impact that Kerby Joseph has been able to have through 7 games of the 2024 season. He's already set a career high in interceptions with 13 total in 2.5 years plus in the NFL. Those 5 INTs this year come along with 7 passes defensed and 39 tackles. By the way, one more tackle than Brian Branch, who's actually played one less game than Joseph. Those two, and Amik Robertson, Carlton Davis III, and others, have really helped the Lions reach top of the league status in terms of forcing turnovers. They've forced 15 turnovers this year, 10 interceptions, 5 fumbles recovered. Globally, the team is plus 10 in turnover margin. That's second in the NFL. That's a huge development, if you ask me. If the offense continues to stay consistent in terms of being balanced, run pass, scoring points, and not turning the football over, and Detroit keeps getting the ball in their hands like Kerby Joseph and Brian Branch have done so far this year, it's going to be very difficult to beat this team in the regular season or knock them out of the playoffs. That plus 10 turnover margin is second in the league behind the Buffalo Bills. Their 10 interceptions as a defense is also tied for second. Branch has 4 INTs, so those two have combined for 9 of the Lions' 10 interceptions this year. Really remarkable. Branch has 1 forced fumble, 38 tackles. Joseph, 39 tackles, like I said. I'm going to get to the film here that shows his interceptions, a couple of his run stops. I think he's been a little better this year against the run than he probably received criticism for last year, in some cases rightfully so. And then still at times I feel like he's a grabber on defense when he's trying to make a tackle. And I'll show you the missed tackle, missed sack potentially against Geno Smith that ended up hurting the Lions. Let's get the film started here with last week's interception. This is second quarter. Mason Rudolph obviously playing quarterback. They're going to go with a over concept, Yankee, whatever you want to call it, a vertical clear out down here to the bottom side of the screen. And then Okonkwo, the tight end, he's a Maryland guy. I know him quite well, not personally, but from the standpoint of watching his game. And then Joseph just comes out of nowhere because he reads it. He sees it. He understands the concept. I don't think he's a guesser. People say, oh, certain guys guess. Well, first of all, if he is guessing, he's guessing right a lot this year. I think he sees concepts, and I think he understands. Whether he understands formations or not, I don't know. But he definitely is able to get in the right place at the right time. In this case, Branch is falling off vertically, allowing Okonkwo to cross over the middle of the field. I think that's part and parcel to what's happening here. And I've talked about this in other videos. Basically, the safety driving on some of those over concepts, climb concepts, if you will, and the backside defensive back, whether it's an outside corner or a safety, in this case Branch, falling off, potentially looking for another crosser, a high crosser from the other side. Big play in the second quarter because you're already up 21-14. This handed Detroit's offense a short field again to push the lead to 28-14, a 2-touchdown lead that they stretched to 35-14 at the half. Same play, end zone angle. You can see the play action nature of it. Here's Branch falling off, allowing Okonkwo to cross deep into the other safety's territory. To quote one high safety, look, so Joseph shouldn't be there. But they are doing a great job on this technique for the most part this year. I would like to put something on my Patreon or Twitter about the Lions, how they're doing this from one high safety looks often. Very reminiscent of things that the Patriots used to do from a coverage standpoint. This all started in week 1. With his interception of Matthew Stafford. I believe this is late second quarter, but I could be wrong. Stafford, I think, makes a really poor decision, tries to throw this to the middle of the field, and at the point in time that this interception occurs, week 1, people didn't know this. They should now. These two guys have 9 interceptions combined through 7 games, like I said. It's a dangerous proposition when Aaron Glenn lets them put their toes on the goal line and just read and react to the routes and or the quarterback. Joseph is usually really heavy on the quarterback, number 1. Number 2, he's got great hands. Great, people call it ball skills. I don't know what his background was, but I'm quite sure he played receiver in high school, maybe even in college some. But this guy, when the ball is in the area, he goes and gets it, whether he has to elevate to go get the football or whether he has to dive and make the catch or outstretch like here. Stafford is looking in the middle here. I think he's already come off a read that's off screen to our right. Is Cooper Kupp, by the way. And then he's going to come back to this route over the middle. Poor decision because Kerby Joseph is sitting right there. And look, if Kerby Joseph doesn't intercept it, Brian Branch is going to make contact with the receiver. Unfortunately, in today's NFL, probably going to call him for hitting a defenseless receiver. But a beautiful play by Joseph to take advantage of a poor decision from Stafford, one of the few that he made in week 1. Another one that illustrates the tremendous ball skills that he's got. Now, this is Branch, left safety, Joseph, right safety. The Cardinals have gone hurry up, and they think that they've got Kyler Murray thinks he's got something to work with in terms of Detroit not being settled, so he's just throwing this up for grabs to Harrison, and Joseph his ball skills are impeccable. I don't remember him dropping very many interceptions in the last 2 or 3 years, and my coverage of the Lions has overlapped with his rookie year of 2022 when he had 4 interceptions, including, I think, 2 against Aaron Rodgers and maybe even a third that got called back for a penalty. This one, high point in the football, underthrown by Kyler Murray in the third quarter. It's an important play because it was needless risk taken by Kyler Murray, in my opinion. This one's late in the fourth quarter. He's going to do a nice job of just reading the routes and then turning and picking up the quarterback. It's a minute left in the game. You're already up, I think, 42-29, so the game is over. Inside leverage, possibly got a post, and maybe something underneath developing. At this point in time that I have it paused, he's not sure. He goes with the post because he identifies where the quarterback is throwing it. Look at the elevation, high pointing the football. Tremendous ball skills that the Lions have back there as a guy who can play middle of the field free safety. Last year, a lot of criticism about his tackling, unwillingness to tackle, I guess at times, is the way it was described. What you're getting out of this guy is pretty remarkable. He could throw a real problem or wrench into the Lions' plans long term. How many interceptions does he come up with this year? What if he comes up with 8? What if it's 9? Like, how do you look at the guy and not think about retaining him beyond his 4th year? Really fantastic secondary that they've put together. They've had penalty issues, don't get me wrong, with CD3 and with Terrion Arnold. I think those will probably continue because of the coverages that Aaron Glenn is going to ask them to play, particularly on third down. But having this guy back there as an eraser is a huge blessing for Aaron Glenn. All right, as a tackler, inconsistent, I would say. 10 or 12 run concepts that he's either involved in or could have been involved in. This one, I think, is an illustration of what he can do well. If there's already some disruption of the flow in the backfield, I'm never a huge fan of handing the ball off behind you when you're already in the shotgun. If you're under center like buck sweep, that's a different story if you ask me because of the speed, the timing at which the run concept hits. I think it's Jack Campbell running underneath the blocking scheme going to disrupt, and then Joseph going to fit on the outside and then go underneath of the outside force defender. Fits it perfectly. It ends up being Campbell and Joseph both credited for a tackle for loss. Against Tampa Bay, somewhat similar. It's a 4-yard gain. It's up here to the top side. It's more of a direct flow by White inside the C gap, off tackle, essentially. Derek Barnes getting kicked out. And then White underneath of here, you can see Joseph close down. He actually kind of knees the running back. He's not there on arrival to tackle low. He actually ends up on top of the running back. Do I think it's a strength of his game? No. I think that he has been inconsistent with tackling. It continues to concern me in certain situations. This one is going to be an edge blitz against the Seahawks. Obviously, the defense did not play well overall, give up, I think, 38 first downs. In this case, Geno Smith is able to shrug off the attempted sack by Kerby Joseph on a 3rd and 8, mind you, in that crazy third quarter, and then complete the pass over the middle to JSN to get the first down. Unfortunate at the time. Looking back now, it didn't matter. The Lions won. These are the things that I think he would need to clean up, fix, change, whatever word you want to describe with it, in order to be an All-Pro, in order to make a Pro Bowl, in order to be considered one of the best guys in the league. Some of these plays he's either got to make or not miss so badly. I didn't mean to turn this one negative at all, but I see a really high-level football player, and this is the only part of his game that I would say is missing from being recognized for what he is, a absolute weapon against offenses when they want to throw the ball down the field. Walker ends up, it's a cool blocking scheme by Seattle, don't get me wrong, give them credit for it. He ends up getting caught up under here. We'll run it back one more time so you can see it. If he was willing to fill faster, I think he's oftentimes staring at the quarterback instead of looking at his read, whether it's the uncovered lineman here or the tight end there. If he was reading that, meaning he was looking in that direction and then responding to those keys, he would see a big-ass gap widen up between the down block of the right tackle and the tight end stepping out to the edge defender and know that someone's got to fill there. The wide receiver closes off the inside linebacker. The motioning tight end gets Terrion Arnold, who jumps inside. He should not. Gives up the edge. It's not Kerby Joseph's fault. I'm saying if he wants to reach the level that his talent provides, those are the things that we've got to see some improvement on more consistently, because this is already there. And this is what most fans focus on. This is what a front office will focus on if he does end up with 7, 8, 9, 10, or maybe 10 interceptions this year. It is possible. It sounds ridiculous, I know. It's possible with how well Detroit stops the run and just the sheer number of pass plays that you're going to see, the sheer number of times the ball is going to be put in the air. If the Lions are able to put good teams in these situations, Kerby Joseph could change a playoff game. He's the kind of guy, in my opinion, that can change a playoff game with 1 or 2 interceptions. He's just a ball hawk. I don't know how you can refer to him as anything other than that as a free safety. I'd like to see him be a little bit more balanced to reach his potential and gain the accolades and praise of a wider net of people than just people like yourself, Lions fans, or me, who try to evaluate the game somewhat independently at this point. I root for him to make an interception pretty much every game, almost as hard as I root for Brian Branch and guys like Kyle Hamilton to get those as well. I really like the player. I'd love to see him improve as a tackle, even though he has 39 tackles this year. Again, one more than Branch in one more game played. I'd like to see him improve a little bit. I think he's made strides this year. I think he's made steps. My suspicion would be that's something that the coaching staff wants him to focus on when he's put in those positions. But generally, Branch is the guy who's moving up closer to the line of scrimmage, and Joseph is a, quote, middle-of-the-field free safety who reacts to the quarterback and then reacts to the ball in the air. And when he does that, he is absolutely dangerous for a quarterback to deal with. It's going to be a great game this week against the Packers. I intend to do a large-scale film study on the Lions' coverages and some of the pass concepts that the Packers run. It'll be pretty much an all-nighter for me, Wednesday or Thursday night. So if you'd like to see that video completed, please give me some encouragement in the comment section, because I want to do a large-scale preview of that game. I think it's worthy of it with so much young talent on both sides, both teams, and on both sides of the ball. I appreciate you guys' time, man. If you enjoyed the video, please let me know in the comment section. Let me know what you think of Kerby Joseph's 2024 season. I don't think these 5 interceptions are inflated. I think it's sustainable because Detroit is going to stop or slow down the run consistently and give him more chances, just like the ones you've seen in this video. If you think other Lions fans would enjoy this film study and some of my comments or thoughts about Kerby Joseph's season in 2024, then please consider grabbing a link to this video, sharing it out on social media to help this content get more reach.